Hi guys, it's day 52 of 100 days of 1% better. So we are in the same outfit that we were in before because I told you we're recording 2 days in one day, but we have the snippets from each individual day that gets incorporated into each video. So out of the gallon of water, we only drank one of these yesterday.
Only drinking one of these today because I'm just really tired and it's a long day.
I went to office, and sometimes when you're like in the AC and all of that, like you really don't want to drink water, which is kind of bad, but it happens, and I acknowledge that. But I did have green tea.
Made myself a cup of green tea.
I did take my vitamins, and I did spend time with prayer and God.
Gonna pray the rosary and read the Bible, as well as 5 pages of bleed feelings.
And I think that's one thing that's been so consistent in this journey is to stay connected to God no matter what, because it is crucial in stuff like this. So I read Psalm 55, 16 to 22, and it talks about having constant communication with God, making prayer a commitment and consistent, and to make it a part of our lives, no matter what circumstances we face, to stay committed to God regularly. And I know that I'm also guilty of this because our relationship with God always leans away, comes back. It's like He never lets us go, but we let Him go, you know? Trusting in God's protection. I think this has been like super consistent when reading across the board that we have to trust that God, with our struggles, knows that and is our faithful protector. And dealing with betrayal. And there's deep sorrow over betrayal, over the curse of basically having broken relationships. And it asks us to place our trust in God's justice, to turn to Him for comfort and during times of betrayal or abandonment, and casting our burdens onto God, that God is willing and able to take our insecurities, our anxieties, our fears and difficulties, and that we can give them to Him and that we can find rest in Him. And God's faithfulness to the righteous, which means that despite challenges, God will remain faithful. Again, He doesn't let us go and will not allow us to be overwhelmed by life's troubles. So again, very beautiful. That's what I journaled. And of course, I read 5 pages of bleak feelings. Very consistent with this too for the past couple of weeks or so, and I'm very happy about that. But this is what we learned. So it talks about how you have to accept negative emotions and recognize feelings like anger, anger and sadness are natural and completely unavoidable. And instead of suppressing them, you should allow yourself to experience and understand these emotions, which is something over the course of the year through therapy that I have come to understand is very natural, especially if you did not grow up with learning how to emotionally regulate yourself, learning and understanding your emotions, because you can't fully go one pet the pet the means side, but you can't go completely one side where you're just completely losing control. And but there are moments where you'll lose control. That's absolutely human, but you can't do that all the time, and you can't bottle them up or suppress them. So what is understanding your emotions and sort of dealing with them? Because you have to challenge, and it even says that here, like despairing thoughts, like when you're experiencing negative emotions, you have to question the validity of your thoughts, identify and comfort any irrational beliefs that continue to contribute to your distress, and avoid linking grief to responsibility, because you have to understand that experiencing grief means that, when you place responsibility on that, it's like you are blaming yourself for their loss, but that's a perspective that can like really cause a lot of harm. And when you prevent that perspective of self-blame, you can promote your healing. And again, it mentions to engage in meaningful activities that align with your values and bring you joy, and that engagement can give you a sense of purpose, and aid in your emotional journey. And this is all in this chapter for Bleak Love, and I think it mostly is talking about a heartbreak. So in heartbreak, like seek support, reach out to your friends, your family, professionals, so that you have the guidance to get out of like really difficult times. And if it's too hard for you, you can also pursue treatment options. And also, you have to avoid holding others responsible for your grief. Your grief is your own, right? But while people may have contributed to that, you have to also understand that your emotional state is completely in your hands, right? And that they are not solely responsible for your feelings. You are as well. And contribute meaningful activities despite the feelings of negativity and stuff that you have. Because even when you're feeling down, if you persist in activities that are meaningful to you, that will help you to maintain a sense of normalcy and purpose. Which again, I feel like everything kind of aligns. And I always tell people in this channel and in these videos, like, it's kind of bizarre if you think about how well everything connects with one another. So yeah, that's what I read. I did not exercise and go to the gym. It's just been a very tough week, like work, life in general. And that's, again, the whole point. It's not every week's going to be perfect, right? And I still do my self-care. I mentioned that in the previous video. But out of 10,000 steps yesterday, I only did like 2,500, which is around like 120 steps. But I did meditate, and meditation is always good to clear your head. So out of a total of 8 habits, I only did 5, a little bit lower, 60%, but we're still pushing forward and we're still taking care of ourselves. We're still reading, praying, and you know, that's the most important part. It's just that whatever we do, we keep going forward. And in terms of 1% better, maybe this is not the best week for the 1% better, but it will get better. And that's what matters, right? So that's pretty much it for today. But at the end of every video, I like to say that the world is a better place because of you. Make sure that you live up to it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. This was my lunch in office, and I brought the tiramisu that was gifted to me to work. Dinner, can you say, I just want to be part of your symphony? Oh. Yes.